Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second installment of Sideshow.
Woo-hoo!
Today on Sideshow, we welcome to the stage Jeshua.
Woo!
Hello.
Jeshua, let me introduce you.
Period. Go ahead.
This being oozes through life and makes everyone they pass melt in comfortable contentment. They're batty. Don't fuck with them, and they will love you so, so hard. Amazing, multidisciplinary artist with a voice that has history.
Oh.
Jeshua is a skilled dancer, shaker, and mover. Also, just look so pretty.
It's true.
This
can't deny it.
This person has also been my best friend since 17 years old.
Since
A lot of
17?
journeys, a lot of adventures, a lot of identities.
True.
Why are you talking about Joshua when they're like 9 years old and stuff? Or am I just making that up? You met at 17?
No, I was younger.
He was. I mean, they were 14.
She was 17.
Shut up.
Okay, so life is a horrific funhouse full of ever-changing perceptions, some real, some imagined. So tell me what you see when you're looking in the mirror today. Who'd like to start?
Me.
Okay.
I said, Lauren is a goof. You're a modern day Cosmo Kramer. She comes to you from a desperate place right now in her life. Financially hopeful and can be so hot when she wants to be. Excellent at harmonies.
Period. Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When I look in the mirror today, I don't know. It's not going so well lately. Like I'm feeling like my age and like really grappling with my body, and I'm not having sex with anyone right now, so I don't feel that like ping of sexual energy that used to rejuvenate me and make me
that if I were you.
Like, baby, you couldn't waterboard that out of me. Go on.
Okay, cool. How are people supposed to think we're cool now?
Are you accusing me of being, what is it when you can't get laid?
Accusing you of a dry spell. That's what
Oh,
we're
Yeah,
doing.
well,
a drought. We are in a drought.
Yeah, I'm in a drought.
Not
But
to
I
be
used
connected.
to joke around that I was like a succubus because I literally felt like I could draw energy from sexual experiences
Ooh.
and walk away like more powerful. And it's been interesting to fuck with the idea of not having that at all and being like, oh, where's your energy coming from now?
Where's your
Oh, I have to
identity?
find it from within. Ugh,
It's not your sexual prowess.
it's not.
It's not you.
We're moving on.
It's just a different season.
Yeah, it's a season. It's a season. Joshua, what do you see when you look in the mirror?
Yeah.
Today, when I look in the mirror, I see a gothy bad bitch, you know, who just came off a 5-day depression bender.
Oh my god, only 5 days?
Yeah, it was a short one this time. Like, not too bad, not too deep. Like, you know, ate like one meal during the whole time. It was great. I see someone who is a hard worker, but they're a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like
too.
overall, like things are a little crazy right now, so I'm feeling like the tiredness from all that.
Yeah.
But overall, did I say a bad bitch?
Yes, you did.
I just wanted to make sure I could
We
reiterate
heard
that.
it.
We
Like-
heard it. We see it.
Also, I think I'm tired too. I don't know if everybody's feeling that. Like, it's just like, I feel so tired.
Yeah, it's true.
And maybe that's aging, but I don't think so.
It's like aging, capitalism,
Mhm.
astrology,
Mhm.
Roe v.
Mercury
Wade.
retrograde, like
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
to get onto our subject today, we can move it around, but for the most part, you two have been best friends for shorter than I thought, but
Am
a
I
long
your
time.
best friend?
You're my best friend. You're one of my best friends.
One of.
One
Oh,
of.
is there
I'll
a ranking?
accept that because I have more best friends too. You're not the only one.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Okay, cool.
I'm just
That's
the
good.
hottest
Not
one.
possessive. That's good.
I'm just the hottest one, like, and that's fine. I'll take it. Yeah.
You gotta have to fight.
No.
Oh,
I-
no, you can take it. It's fine.
Good, because there was no contest. Anyway.
I'm like,
So, I've known you forever.
Mm-hmm.
I met you in a different identity than you're sitting here now.
Definitely.
Can I describe how you were?
Yeah, go for it.
A cute little boy, you know, that was like always laughed, but like was clearly not comfortable, you know, and was like maybe gay, ooh, maybe, you know, or Jeshua's in love with you, Lauren. Don't you see that? Don't you see
Who
that?
said that?
Who do
Your
you
mom?
think? Yes. So through all the identities that they've been through, we constantly get harassed that we're a couple, which I think we're like the weirdest couple.
I guess they see like a female body person and like a male body person. They're like, they're hanging out, they have to be together.
Right.
Well, most heterosexual adults, especially of a certain era, are always trying to matchmake friends anyway. My brother had a best friend who was a girl his entire life, and I think it was like exactly at like 12 or something. They parted ways and like didn't talk for years because I think they were getting endlessly harassed about like, these are in love, and there were children.
Yeah. They're like, we're literally playing Legos. Like,
well, everything became more clear when we were at that amazing New Year's party that we were all at.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best New Year's party.
It was a
so
1976 theme, very specific and obnoxious, but amazing.
In like this beautiful mid-century house in the Hollywood Hills.
You could see the Hollywood sign from the window. Everyone was sexy.
Yeah,
Every single person.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the vibes were flowing, other things were flowing, and this like girl comes up to us and she's like, you know, hey.
She gave us very much the like, hey, me and my boyfriend saw you from across the room.
Yeah,
and,
you guys dance cute together.
Yeah.
Trying to do a
vibe.
swinger situation?
Yeah.
And we were like, gather.
We ran away to the kitchen. Like it was,
we did.
I think also because like we were a little bit drunk, like you know, we were like, 1 second, like, and we grabbed each other's hand, ran to the kitchen, and at the same time we were like,
I don't want to have sex with you.
I don't want to have sex with you either.
Ever.
And we just like held hands and like
and
laughed. And we were like, okay, let's go back.
I already told Lauren I don't want to see her be penetrated, and I feel bad for that.
I take offense to it. I take offense. Whatever. I think I would see you penetrated.
I appreciate that. I do. I'm working on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm closed-minded. Maybe I'm a prude. Okay, so we are really then talking about being non-binary and identity shifting or identity realization or however we want to call it, which we're going to be posing these questions to you. And I would like to make the admission of how I felt when I heard the concept of non-binary and just be totally upfront that I was talking so much shit. I was talking to one of my best friends and I was like, this is enough. Like, enough is enough. And it was, but at the same time, like, I am a person who's committed to evolution all the time. So I was like, I can't believe I finally found the thing that is making me feel like I don't know what's going on anymore. Because I was like, I can evolve with everything. This was like a roadblock that I hit. And I was like, no, I can't. No, I'm not going here. And the reason I was so like up in arms about it is because I remember I listened to this interview with Joey Soloway, who's the creator of Transparent. And they were talking about being non-binary. And my thought, I was like, what, you're on a show that's like illuminating all the hardships and strifes of trans people and you just want to be marginalized too? You just want to be someone special too? Like, this is the kind of shit I'm talking on the phone. I was like, oh, I just don't get this. Like, you're just trying to infuse yourself in this movement and you're making it all muddy for the people that actually need help or actually need their identity to shift. And as it grew and changed, especially through prayer and meditation, and just sitting with the discomfort, because I was never stubborn. I was like, and now I shall stay here in ignorance. I was like, wow, I really have to figure this out, especially because my beautiful audience is like so diverse and a lot of them are so young. So one day it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. I think I was in the shower and my best thoughts come to me. It was like, God is non-binary. Holy moly. Like, what if this is just
For sure.
an expansion of the human experience? What if these people are just in a state of evolution or whatever? Like, I don't want to imply that it's like more evolved than anyone else, but wherever you're sitting or standing, I was like, oh, this just sounds like the concept of really mirroring God's energy and being like, I am neither, I am both, I am everything. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, got it. Yeah, I think. Yeah. But now I still want to talk to you really openly about the obstacles, the language being the most difficult thing. Yes. Because the second like thing I was doing was like, I'm a writer. I will not be subject to this grammar. Yeah. And I was also kind of thinking, don't non-binary people want some other distinction that is not so damn confusing? Mm-hmm. But I also had that same thought in the shower. It's like they does make sense because it is all encompassing and it's many things. But all of that said, I think the question of how does it feel, and arguably how has it felt your whole life, to be misgendered, to have someone come up to you and say, here he is, here he comes. Like, since you were little, do you remember that always hitting you wrong? When did you even know non-binary was an option? Is that even how you identify now?
Yeah, like, when would you say was the first time that you felt like you were like, this doesn't feel like my body, or, you know, what was that moment for you?
For me, it was like a different experience. It wasn't so much that like I don't feel comfortable in my body. It was like the title of man never like fit for me. And even like masculine things like playing certain sports or like wearing certain clothes like made me uncomfortable as a child. Like I used to hate wearing tank tops because I just associated in my head like little boys wear tank tops. And I was like, I hate wearing tank tops. I don't want to wear tank tops. And I would like, you know, kind of like make it very difficult for my mom to dress me. I'd be like, I don't want to wear a tank top. And so like there was that. I always had this like perception of my head of like how I pictured myself. And it was like a more feminine being. Yeah. And so like so I couldn't tell you like specifically like the first time I ever felt like that. It was like, that's how I have always identified. It wasn't until like, probably I hit like puberty age, so like 14, that I started to look a little more masculine. Mm-hmm. And then people pushed their perceptions onto that. And I had to bend to their like ideas or whatever. And
yeah, so first you started as cute little boy. Then you go to like man who is attractive.
Well, I definitely went through like, and then awkward teenager who
we all know.
Who like couldn't figure it out.
I remember that part, but I was trying to leave that part.
I appreciate it.
But then also all of a sudden you were like, you know, blooming and becoming like super attractive. So then everybody was like noticing you, but you were straight. Yeah. But you were, you know.
Did you feel sexualized as a man? Like, because because I feel like when I remember when all of the boys in school started blooming and going through puberty and starting like becoming sexualized to me, it was very gendered in the way that I would sexualize them, like their hands being rough or their back being broad and like all of these things.
Yeah, definitely that. So that happened more like when I was like 19. When I went to college, then, you know, I changed in a way that was like, oh, now people are starting to notice me, like, in a masculine way. And right away, I was like, I still feel uncomfortable with this. So I grew my hair out really long. And that was, like, the first thing.
That was, like, your first hot boy moment.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, my God.
Yeah. I grew my hair out super long. And it was, like, big and curly.
Hot.
And so hot. It like immediately like was like
we were a cute couple.
Yeah. And I was still like very like reserved in how I dressed and very like you know, for lack of better words, like kind of basic.
Yeah.
So it it was giving just like a dude with long hair.
Yeah, which is my normal dating profile. I'm graduating.
Watch out.
Dude with long hair, like, period.
Watch out. She's going to snatch you.
Period.
Well, recently we were having a dinner party here, and you were like mentioning that you're into women as well, and I was like, I did not know I had a chance.
Yeah, like
Very
it's
exciting.
it's giving equal opportunity. Okay, like I really don't judge.
Thank you. But this brings up for me too, like the distinction between gender and sexuality, because how damn confusing may that have been in your brain? Did you feel like you had to do the sorting of like, am I gay? Am I trans? Like, what is happening to me? Did you know non-binary was an option?
I didn't know non-binary was a thing until like kind of recently, to be honest.
So you learned when we all learned.
Yeah, in a sense, like I started to identify as gay, but I never could I couldn't resonate with that.
Mm.
And there was so much with like gay culture that I was like, I don't, not to be like a pick me or anything, but like I just don't live like that, and I don't agree with that, to be honest. That sounds very like
You're like, wait, I agree with what?
I don't agree with homosexuality. No, like I just don't like agree with some of the like patriarchal ways that they operate in.
Yes.
And so those
in its most problematic state.
In its most problematic state, exactly. And probably at its like basic state, at its like most visibly apparent state. And I was like, I don't want to participate in that. I don't agree with that. I don't resonate with it. So I started to just say like, oh yeah, I'm like queer, you know, but not having any real like knowledge of what queer meant. And it wasn't until like maybe halfway through our quarantine time when I was just by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was just by myself. I was in my room. I was like, wait a minute, like, why am I doing all this performance?
Yes.
Because that's really what it feels like. Like every day I'd be like dressing up
so
in
exhausting.
a man's costume.
So exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was really like, hold on, like this shit's crazy. So I started to like play with the idea of or think of the idea like maybe I'm trans. Maybe that's what this is. And while I consider myself now like trans non-binary, that can mean for me what it means for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to, because like I said, I never had a problem with my body. I never had a problem with how I looked. I had a problem with how society perceived me.
Wow.
So like my thing is like I should be able to look however I want. Like if I wanted to, which I don't, but if I wanted to, I could grow a big beard and be like super buff and short hair and be like, yo, talk like that. And people should still have the freedom to not be perceived as a man.
Right.
You know, like we should be able to choose our identity.
So what do you think is, like, what pronouns do you choose and what pronouns fit you the best? Like, because I have heard like she, they, you know, he, they,
them, yeah.
I definitely go by they, them.
Okay.
But I don't have any rejection toward a she, her, but not a he, him. I'm like, don't go there. Like that's very.
So if you're gonna be misgendered, if anything slips out of my mouth by accident about you, it better be she.
It better be she. Like,
I feel like that I almost might be easier for me to not slip up. Like if I knew that I had that permission from you, I think it would be much easier, honestly.
Yeah.
But like me and Lauren, we're always practicing it together because we talk about you a lot. We talk a lot of really nice things behind your back. And when talking behind your back, you know, Lauren would be like doing dishes and haphazardly be like, well, he, da 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 da. And I'd be like, well, they, da da da. And we look at each other like, we're working on this. Lauren never ever misgendered you ever.
You literally misgendered me in the beginning.
I really did, and I'm glad we have that on.
And I know it's so perfect.
Because, well, that's another question. Like, how does it feel when someone like me misgenders you, even if, you know, I have like an 85-year-old brain and I'm like, you know, like, because it's the grammar.
When it's someone like you, it totally is based on the person. So like if we were all talking and you guys were like he, I know that it's not I know that you guys see me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I actually really don't care about the pronoun.
Okay.
It's, like I said, people's perception of what they're putting onto me. So if you're sitting here like, yeah, I understand that for some of the time that you've known me, I went by he, him. And it's grammatically, like, whatever, how we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, like, be like, ow. Now, if you had a whole conversation, you're like, he's a man, then he does he, him, man thing. I'd be like, yeah, no, bitch, we're not going to do that today. But it's definitely, like, when strangers do it, is when I am hit with the realization of, like, oh, ooh, y'all see me like that. Ooh, okay. You know, like if I'm.
I mean, I'm always used to like someone always saying, "Hey, ladies,"
yeah,
because your hair and
especially with a mask on and like hair.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like I'm kind of big, but like yes, ladies.
Yeah, because it's almost like your hair seems like a really good way to present as a she and to be gendered that way. I mean, I think it's like kind of. First of all, what you said was so beautiful about saying, well, you see me, so that's why it doesn't bother me. I think that is really key to understand that when you're tripping up over grammar or you're even being judgmental of a friend, being like, they've been a girl for 49 years and now they're trying to be a they. Like, to just actually be introspective, look inside of yourself and look at them and be like, I believe you. Now let me like see what you're showing me and actually receive that information without like digging your heels in and be like, oh, I have a whole friendship with you. And I'm not, you know, like, because that is, people just want to be seen.
Well, what about, okay, we've all met the people that are like, take on every new thing, right? So there's like people that say they're a they, them, but maybe everybody's perception of them is
a he, him, or
or like you're just like trying to like I've even met like fuckboys that ask to be they, them. And it's like
there's a whole thing about like fuckboys that are like getting educated and all of this stuff and then using it to like be manipulative. I mean, I think maybe my example of that is like I'm thinking about the musical theater that I was doing in high school and middle school.
I'll try not to listen.
What?
I said I'll try not to listen.
Lauren's very jealous of this my life experience.
We were in a play together.
We were in a play together. Anyways.
You were the baker and I was and you stuffed your butt, remember?
And you stuffed your butt too.
And I did too.
What play is this?
It was like
an Oliver Twist.
Like Christmas
meets Annie.
And I was Miss Hannigan, had a huge butt.
And she was Miss Fannigan.
Oh.
And then you were the baker and you should have had a way bigger part than you did, of course.
Yeah, but the person was racist who cast the play. Like literally,
sexist,
like not even
racist,
not even like
everything. That's cool.
This in Riverside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well there you got some
but
issues.
You had like a funny moment where you were like, and then like we
bumped butts. It was cute. Okay, anyway, so you were in musical theater.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm just thinking rationally, like if I was 12 years old, flitting around school, discovering myself, first of all, I would have known that I was bi or pan, really. I would have known that then because it would have been embraced and understood. And also, I just can't imagine that we wouldn't all be messing around with trying different gender identities and being like, is this me? Is this me? Is this me? Also just to be cool or just to be accepted or just to be like, oh, all my friends, like whatever. So I think that there's so much like fear in media and stuff about like, what if kids get these notions and then decide that they're ready to transition? And that feels really valid to me. On the other hand, like I'm like, well, maybe we can just make a world that's more hospitable to understanding that kids are going to flow through things that maybe do feel trendy for a second that aren't real, and it doesn't mean they have to transition.
Just because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean like it's either your choice is support your child and what they say, or be stubborn because it makes you uncomfortable, and then let your child know that you don't support them, or like what's the trade-off, you know, like
well, if you say like what's the harm, the answer would be like what if they misgender themselves throughout this whole thing and I'm supporting them too much and then they transition and then regret it? That's the fear.
So here's my thing. And I think this has to do, if we're like going back to the root of the things, I would say this has to do with colonization. This has a very colonized...
Doesn't everything?
This has a very, very colonized and narrow view of what it means to be gendered. So in other places that weren't like for example, like Turtle Island, the United States area, the continent, before colonization, there was many different words for many different genders and for many different identities. Now, they didn't have the abilities to medically transition. They were them, and that's how you saw them, and they were allowed to be themselves. And so in my journey, that's kind of what I've had to live with as someone who transitioned later in life. No amount of surgeries is going to not get me clocked. Like, I'm never going to get fish like that. Meaning
what do you
like...
mean?
We're like, yeah.
We're like, yeah.
So getting clocked is like when someone is like, oh, that's a man.
Yeah.
And you're like, as a woman.
I guessed that one, but what about fish?
Giving fish is like, ooh, that's fishy. Like, that's a woman. And you're like, joke's on you. Like, you know, that's what giving fish is. Anyways.
Okay.
So I'm never going to give fish. I'm a fully grown, fully formed human. Even if I completely alter my body, like that voice is gonna clock me like that, you know? So I had to like sit with myself and be like, so what does this mean for me to be a trans non-binary person? Well, it has to do with people's perceptions again. Like, wait, why am I trying to alter my body? Why am I trying to alter my voice? I should not have to. You should still let me be the person that I am.
Yeah, because it's yours.
Despite your perceptions of it. Like, that's the thing. And so when I think about kids and like this whole thing going on with all these states like really putting all these harsh restrictions on trans people and their parents, I think that you have to listen to your child, and every person is different. Like, I couldn't speak for everyone, but also like as a society and a bigger note, I think us changing our perception of what does it mean to be trans then. If this child can exist as they are, and if no one's telling you like, oh, you in a man's body, you in a woman's body, oh, you're a sir, you're probably not going to feel the same dysphoria as if people just allowed you to be, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, that's like my hot take on it. I, of course, support like all my sisters and brothers and non-binary people who decide to like medically transition. That's not an option for me. So this is how I like resolve it within myself.
Yeah. And you could change your mind about things. Like, you're an evolving...
Yeah, exactly. You know. And about the thing of like fuckboys being they thems now, or fuck thems.
Yes.
That is so real. And you know what? So real. It's so real, but it's almost like it doesn't take anything away from me, first of all. And also, that same freedom that I am fighting for, I hope that you have as well.
Right.
So you are a fully formed, you're a multi-dimensional being, and one of those dimensions is that you're a fuckboy. And child, have I seen that? Like,
where have you seen that?
Oh my gosh! Because I personally don't date men. Like, that's just, it's not for me. And that's more of a harm thing. I don't tiptoe in that area anymore. However, I have met people who, you know, are giving what I'm giving, but they're they them, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're they them, you're gonna be somehow more evolved, and be like, oh babe, you're giving us very much nothing. Wow. Yeah. So it's allowing the people that space. Yeah. Like, yes, baby, give us nothing, and that's okay. That's okay.
Now, okay, back to the grammar. Did you does it like trip you? Did it start tripping you up at first, or were you like, this makes sense? Click.
No, it still trips me up to this day. Okay. Like, there's people that I know where I'll be like, them. Yeah. And sometimes in reference to myself, I'll still say he.
Because you gotta talk like about yourself.
Yeah, I'll definitely like, or you know, if I'm like, oh, she said he was crazy, and I'm like, like, oh no, I'm not oh my bad, like, you know. But it's just that thing. It's like it's ingrained in our vocabulary. It's sure.
Can I say, hi guys?
Oh, I was like, wait, what? Well, I don't feel personally offended by that. Because like I said, I know that you're not trying to be like, hello, Mr. Man, you look like a sir. Like, I know that's not where it's coming from. That's just part of our lexicon where we're like, hey guys, what's up? Like, hey girl. I said that all the time. I was like, what's up, girls? It could be like a group of people.
Well, I think that's acceptable. Everybody loves that.
Right? Except for, no, not everybody.
Yeah, you're right. Expand on that.
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely like had straight like male friends who don't like that.
Which is like...
it's a term of endearment.
Right? I'm like, I was like, fine, you was never one of the girls anyway. You're very much giving him energy. But some people like folks or like, what's up, babes?
Y'all.
What's up, y'all? What's up? And so I've really tried to like move away from like gendered greetings other than girls. Like,
yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Even when I started God is Gray, I instinctually, way before all of this gender conversation was happening, I heard instinctually like gender non-specific greeting. So I said, hi, beautiful people, because I wanted to know everyone was welcome, which in retrospect is like the greatest blessing. I'm glad I got that message because I didn't know. In another, like just in my own mind power, I would have been like, hey guys, because I would have considered that non-gender specific. But yeah, it's just hard to burn out because I feel like the guys thing was supposed to be non-gender specific for decades. And now it's, you know.
Yeah. Well, is there a term that if they wasn't on the table, what would you pick?
I mean, it's not just they, them, she, her, him. Like, there's a bunch of like neo-pronouns.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
Well, people get up in arms about these, but go ahead.
If I had to pick something else, I probably would pick she, her, to be honest. But like, if I was being like goofy and like fun, I'd pick like fair femme or something.
Fair
like, what's that mean?
It's like fairy. It's like fairy pronouns.
Fairy pronouns.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to like laugh.
But it's true though.
Yeah.
Fairies are always like, I don't know what that is, but I like it.
It's just like a very that is a complex conversation. I personally don't go by a neo-pronoun. I go by they, them. But yeah, if people choose to do that, like,
it sounds pretty harmless.
It sounds harmless.
Yeah.
But you also have to extend a certain amount of grace then. Because I don't think like anybody's gonna walk around and be like, oh, merman. Like, what do you mean merman? Like, what? I don't understand.
That'd be great. That gets complicated.
Yeah.
Beautiful people, do you want a new credit card but you're not sure how to choose? The good news is you don't need to apply for the first offer you see in the mail. Credit Karma can help you zero in on the right option for you and help you apply with more confidence. Credit Karma uses your credit profile to show you offers that are tailored to your financial situation. They also partner with a wide range of credit card issuers, so you can be sure that you are exploring all sorts of options. Best of all, Credit Karma uses your credit data to show you your chances of approval before you even apply, helping you apply with more confidence. Comparing cards on Credit Karma is 100% free and won't affect your credit scores. So, are you ready to find the card for you? Head to Credit Karma and check out your personalized mix of offers today. Go to creditkarma.com or the Credit Karma app to find the card for you. That's creditkarma.com. I think that the whole thing about gender is so interesting because I can imagine being like susceptible to having grown up differently or thought differently from childhood because I feel, first of all, masculine and feminine, the more you break it down, doesn't even make any damn sense anyway. Yeah. Because I'm like...
Well, it just puts limits on people. Like, am I this or am I this, you know?
Well, yeah, that as well. But like, thinking... does that sound dismissive?
Being like my little lesy self.
Anyway, let me make a real valid point. No.
Literally.
No, I didn't mean it like that at all. I just meant, my point was like, that I have paid all my bills since I was 19. I can change oil, or like I know what's wrong when my car goes awry. I like again support myself. I carry everything. I bring out the toolkit, like all of these things, and I'm just like, well, that doesn't make me like. It just kind of blows the whole binary up for me in general because I'm just like, well, now this doesn't even really make any sense to me because I am a woman and I'm very comfortable identifying that way. But also, I feel like I have so many, quote, masculine traits and things that I do. And for one, TMI, every time I masturbate, I imagine being in the male perspective with a woman.
Oh my God, period.
You're gay.
Yeah, the girls are gay. I love that.
But I just really do wish I had a penis to be able to do that.
You can have a penis.
Well, yeah, that's
just gotta.
You got a good point.
Buckle it on.
You know, the whole thing. I have definitely fantasized about having the whole package of being a man.
Same. I mean, when I used to play like pretend, like okay, so in my era, it was like Titanic, Lion King. You know, stuff like that. I was always
Jack, Simba,
Jack, Simba. I was always like, you know.
I was like Rose, Nala. Literally.
Exactly. That's an interesting question. Like, which Disney characters were you resonating with? Yeah, I was always the villain.
Like Aladdin.
Always, I loved a villain.
Love the villain.
Oh, you would love a villain,
especially Maleficent.
Oh, I loved a female
Ursula.
villain. Ursula, Maleficent,
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood wasn't a female villain.
I know, but I'm just saying. I
just love Robin Hood, weirdo. That's like
she's just trying to inject it in the conversation.
Yeah, it's very much giving like you're trying to sneak like the animal thing in there. It's not the same.
Normal.
But like when I think of like gender specifically, like I would always say like, oh, it's a spectrum. And you're like moving along this linear line of masculine and feminine. But I don't even believe that anymore.
Oh.
I see it more as like a circle. And like, you know how like when you're editing photos or whatever, there's like the color circle and you like can move through it. And like that's more what I feel like it's like. Because I feel like we put male and female so far away from each other.
Right.
When I think it's just like this like blend of like colors, and I move through it freely, and just like you were saying, how like I get like the tools, I do this, and it's like you can do all those things and still be in the feminine.
Yeah.
You can be in dresses and heels and still be in the masculine, and you can do it all at the same time. So that's how I've been trying to see it.
Sorry, I just got a little horny because I
did not expect that to go there. I thought you'd be like, I'm so like emotional.
She was like
I got struck because men in like heels and gender bending clothing is so hot to me and always has been. Like as soon as boys were wearing like eyeliner and emo era, I was like, okay, I like this. And then, of course, Bowie and Iggy and, like, everything. It's just, like, it's so hot. But I love that circular idea, too, because then it doesn't put us in this, like, grand opposition. And you don't have to be so strict and rigid or so afraid of playing with the other side if they're all sort of just blended together anyway. Because, of course, they are.
It's all, like, scarcity. It's all, like, scarcity thinking. Like, they're, like... like this or this, like we can't have like all these things because then everybody's going to do everything and then
we'll all be happy and won't be depressed anymore.
It's true. I feel like a lot of the way we like survive as humans in this society is being like, if I do to like, if I don't, and if I like, and it's like, what if we just allowed ourselves to just be?
Yeah.
And even like with the thought of money, like resources, like, well, if we all were on the same page and like able to trade, if we were all not worried about this idea of money, like if the person at the top just simply stopped charging, everything would still run. Nothing would change. But anyways.
Well, that goes back to colonization again.
It's
obviously.
It's
because that's what was happening forever.
Okay, now let me ask you this.
Okay.
So has your through your like, you know, would you say Through your, like, would you say transition or would you say, like, journey through your identity, has the, like, people that you were attracted to, like, that, like, got you going, has that changed?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Like,
Definitely.
where was it, and then where did it go?
Love
Okay,
it.
so, like, when I was younger, I definitely...
And
like,
Brenda will tell you when she gets horny.
Yeah,
Good to know.
I have a little
We should have a
bell.
horny bell.
Oh my
Literally,
God,
oh my
we
god,
need that.
we need a horny bell, like, oh my god.
Woo!
Lauren's gonna be constantly interjecting with that. It'll be
Literally,
too much.
oh my god. Okay, so, like, when I was younger, I definitely thought I was more attracted to, like, masculine beings. So it was never...
Like, can you give us an example? to
like
make
a
it fun?
person?
Yeah,
Like
like
me?
someone that everybody
Like,
knows.
absolutely, absolutely. If I... Who's, like, someone that I really, really liked? I mean, like...
I'm trying to remember, too.
We'll
Okay,
go
like-
celeb.
like Nelly.
Ooh,
When I was
Nelly
in-
with the bandages
When I was,
on
like,
his eyes.
older, it was, like, Nelly.
He was hot.
He's giving me bi.
Yeah. You know something.
Like,
Oh, okay.
all the rap girls are gay. Like, I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, like, someone like Nelly would have, like, really, like, Tay Diggs. Like, I remember I used to have a huge crush on
Oh,
Tay Diggs when I was,
yeah.
like, young. And so, like, this, like,
Matt Williams.
idea. Who?
It's in Matt Williams.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Is that someone you went to school with?
Matt Williams,
Yeah.
if you're out
He
there.
was, like, many years older than me, though.
He was so sweet.
But
and
he looked, and you know when you're young and you look at an older person, like they could be like 17.
Yeah.
And you're like, they are a grown ass adult.
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Okay, I
It
thought he
looked
looked like
beautiful.
that,
Mhm.
and then I went back in my yearbook and I looked at him. He did. He like to
Oh.
this day, I was like, you look like you're like 35. Like
yeah,
what the fuck? Like
yeah. He was
that's
walking
crazy.
around.
Have you
he was
seen
a star
21
football
Jump
player.
Street? That's what was happening. Something
exactly.
like it.
Except he was beautiful.
Mm.
Beautiful, like dimples.
You're saying Channing Tatum is not beautiful?
No.
No, I agree.
I mean, he don't do it. For
No
me.
offense, Channing.
Yeah,
No
no
offense,
offense,
Channing. You're probably fine.
You're probably like great personality.
You're
You
giving
dance.
me thumb.
You can definitely.
Oh no.
No, we'll
No,
edit
that's
that
so
out. We'll
rude.
edit that out. We'll edit that out.
But
You want no thumb? No thumb.
No thumb.
Noted.
I mean, unless we keep it.
Okay, so
Trying to be
yeah.
nice here.
Yeah,
Definitely, like a more masculine look was like my thing back then,
Yeah.
and like as I've evolved, I've kind of moved away from that, where those things are not attractive to me anymore. Like I'm more attracted to people who are like very sure of themselves and like
Mm.
able to express their identity. Like, are you interesting? Do you dress cool? Like, you know, what are you doing that's like different? I like a very alternative style now.
Mm-hmm. Like
So-
who?
I mean, nobody that like anyone would know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Whatever.
alternative.
Like Grimes.
Not quite. Not quite. But definitely like people who like that aesthetic.
No, I know exactly
You
what
know,
you mean.
I like that.
So, would you say that, during, I'm sure, not being comfortable in your identity, trying to figure all this stuff out, we went to the same school. It was a Christian school. You come from a Christian family, also a Latinx family. A lot coming at you.
Yeah.
Did music help you escape? Like, what made you fall in love with music?
I think music was always just like a part of who I was. It was a part of my family. I come from like a super musical family. I didn't know this because the family that I knew was not musical. But apparently before my parents,
Oh.
my grandparents and my great aunts and uncles, their parents, like so on,
Oh, wow.
were all really, really musical.
Oh.
And they would like play music together as a family
Uh-huh.
and like it was a huge thing. And so that has always been like integral in who I was, even from a very young age. I was always singing in church. Like I went to my family is Black and Latinx. And I feel like it's just so ingrained in our culture. Every aspect of our existence is like spirit and music,
Mm-hmm.
which probably like same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But I can't say that I found like any solace in creating music as far as like my gender identity, because at a certain point I was writing from a perspective of a man, you know, and not to say that there were things that not to say the things that I was feeling then weren't valid. A lot of it was performance, though.
Mm.
A lot of even what I wrote and the styles that I wrote and how I performed music and how I performed in person on stage was a masculine performance as well. You know, so it wasn't until maybe like 2018, 2019 when I started to feel like some of these things like peeling off. My desire to always present as masculine, my desire to like present as like even straight started to go away, and I started to explore that more, and that was really nice. And then more recently, the new music that I'm working on and like some of the other stuff that I've released have been so free of that that it has been it's been a different journey.
Nice.
It has been very, very different. So now I'm starting to go into the place where I'm exploring my feelings in the most like authentic way that I've ever allowed myself to.
Ooh, cheers to that.
Dang,
That's
beautiful.
great.
Oh, I can't wait to
I
hear
love
that.
that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I can't wait to hear it.
It's so
We
funny
need to
because
work on
like it sounds like it's gonna be like all deep and introspective. And it's like allowing myself to be sexual, allowing myself to be to feel sexy and to like be in control of that like sacral power.
Yes.
And that's more what it is.
Yeah, isn't that so fun, allowing yourself to be sexy? Or like the notion of being sexy for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so like touching yourself for yourself, like
pleasuring yourself just for yourself.
dancing in the mirror for yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
I do pole, which I just took
Which
up
you're like
recently.
super good at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent dancer as well. Like
That definitely helped. The dance
and that's part
experience
of our
helped.
journey too.
Yeah,
So cute.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like starting to pole dance was really something that helped me connect with a more sensuous, feminine side that I was so mortified to like allow myself to like get in touch with. I was really afraid because I'm always doing this like performance of like masculinity and always being policed by everyone around me for everything, every move I made. They'd be like, "Why is your wrist bent like that? Like, don't stand like that. Don't do this. Why did you turn your head like that?"
Who?
Oh my god!
Growing up,
everyone,
right?
like my parents, aunts and uncles, my cousins,
Oh,
peers at school.
I can't imagine having to restrict my body in that way. And
it's always like, why do you gotta switch when you walk? Why do you put your hands on your hips? It's like, damn, I just ran a mile. Like, I can't put my hands on my hips.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly,
why is your wrist bent? Like, so much.
I love their family. But if you knew, like, where it just doesn't make sense. Like, you must be very strong. Very strong. It's, you know, I mean, to hold on to that and then to let it bloom in front of them, you know?
Well, I would like to ask, because so many of us are having a difficult time with the straight cisgender man right now. But I think a lot of what you're saying is really beautiful, because I also want there to be an invitation for those kinds of men to recognize there is a space for them that they can play with, and they don't.
Yeah.
I think the thing that makes them be labeled as toxic or problematic or, you know, whatever, is that fear that they're holding on to not just allow themselves to see others for who they are, and also to acknowledge the
to explore
cornucopia of things inside of their own selves.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give to like a straight cis man that's like, I mean...
Yeah. I'd be like, I'd give you no advice. No, if I did have to give advice.
Someone's got to help him out of there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be you.
It's not
but,
me.
Yeah.
But I would say that, like, it goes back to that idea of gender being this spectrum. It's not the spectrum that you think it is. It's not this linear line. Patriarchy, this idea of masculinity that our society has invented, is so restrictive. It harms men.
Yes.
It puts harm onto the spectrum and to the like whole Venn diagram of humanity, but it harms men. It doesn't even benefit y'all.
No.
it benefits such a small, tiny percentage, and you have to stay within the restrictions, these very like small confines. So what I would say is like, be open and like try to explore this identity that you hold. Why do I hold this identity? What is it really doing for me? Is there a fear of me stepping outside of that? What does that look like for me?
And what is that fear?
And what is that fear?
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? Because a lot of times they will find that it's coming from your male peers, from women as well, who are projecting this like idea of like masculinity from their own traumas, from their own like trickle down patriarchal ideals, you know?
Yes.
Well, how many brunch conversations I've heard where women are like, I could never have sex with a guy who's had sex with a guy, and it's just stuff like that. Like we do perpetuate it in our own ways that we need to be vigilant of ourselves, because there does need to be an invitation for people to play in this space with the rest of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask you more about your art?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary. Can you explain that?
So multidisciplinary, I never wanted to like put myself in a box by being like, I'm just a musician. I'm just a singer.
Because you're much more than that.
Yeah, because I do so much, and like I think my purpose on earth is to tell stories and to explore telling these like truthful narratives in different mediums. So I mean, I make films, I creative direct, I
write songs?
I write. I'm a writer, and I produce vocals. Like there's a huge range of things that I do, and a huge amount of like positions that I have to step into to create my art. It's not like I'm just like showing up and like just singing or just writing it. It's like I am involved with every single step. From the
you really are
from the voice memo that I woke up to in the middle of the night, and I was like, oh my gosh, like da da da.
I would say you like have like you like download this whole vision that comes with the
whole
idea.
Vision. Yeah. It's not just like the song. It's like I know what the song is supposed to sound like. I know sonically what things I want there in the production. I know what the video is gonna look like. I know what my photo shoot is gonna look like. I know how my hair and my makeup is gonna be in this era.
Yeah.
Like I download really like the whole zip file is
there.
Awesome. So I like to be in every planning stage and have my hands like fully into the art. So that's why I call myself multidisciplinary.
What are you working on now?
Currently, I'm working on an EP that I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah, you just smiled.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been doing a lot of dancing, which has like reawakened my spirit, because like I took a long time away from my physicality, and that had to do with my gender struggles. So I took a long step away from that, of loving my body, of dancing, of moving. But now I'm doing that again. I'm prepping for a video right now.
Hell yeah. And you know it's going to be good.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. It's definitely going to be a departure from anything that I've done before.
Do you need
backup singer? What is that?
A backup singer or
dancer?
Someone just to look
hot.
Cool.
Like you guys can both like come and be hot on set.
Anytime.
Yeah, like I'm doing that. I'm definitely getting more into pole, because I plan to integrate that into like my shows.
Nice.
I have a show on June 2nd.
June 2nd?
Yes, June 2nd.
June 2nd, where?
It's in Beverly Hills. I don't have all the information
Bougie.
yet. Yeah, it's a school night, and Doc Martens.
Like doing
cute.
Yeah.
A little festival.
We'll have to get that info.
I'll give you guys all the deets. But so I'm working on that right now. I've just been in like grind mode, which I hate.
You really have.
The idea of like grind mode, not in a capitalistic way, and like I'm grinding for my art, for my passions, to manifest this thing into like a reality.
Yeah. And I would say you're really good at like taking care of yourself, so that, I mean, from an outside perspective, so that you have the steam, like so that it can come out of you.
Yeah.
Self-preservation, I guess.
Yeah, I do that for like when I have a project.
Yeah.
I like do it. Like that's why I'm okay with the 5-day depression bender that I just had, because I think we need that. That's also a part of of our journeys, right? And maybe I just needed to be at home and like recoup my energy for 5 days, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm working on that right now. I'm working on the EP, which is really exciting and different. And that's pretty much what I'm working on right now.
Is there someone like who are your biggest influences right now? Would you say?
Ooh, right now,
Yeah, because I know it's ever changing.
Yeah, it's definitely always changing. But right now, I'm definitely into like FKA Twigs is like has always been a source of inspiration for me.
Yeah.
I'm like big into like Bjork and Madonna, but like
hell yeah.
But like 94 bedtime stories era. Sega Bodega is like one of my favorite producers right now, and he has like an album that was incredible. And like Zebra Cats, like more like alternative, Shy Girl, drums and bass kind of like vibe, like UK garage. That's really inspiring me right now.
Ooh, I like that.
Love
it. Sex club.
Yeah, like if you think about
German
Blade.
Sex club.
Exactly.
Industrial.
If you think of like Blade.
Yeah.
The scene
Hell
where they're
yeah.
in the rave,
I
that's
get down
my
with that.
aesthetic.
That made me really horny, Blade.
Rings the bell.
Horny bell.
Oh my gosh. So it is time to leave this circus tent today.
Thank God.
We're leaving the sideshow. What are you taking with you today?
I'm taking with me my gender identity.
Hell yeah.
My sexual power.
I was going to keep that for myself.
Oh, you're going to... Okay.
Your own
we can
sexual
split
power.
it. We can split it. And some cotton candy. That's what I'm taking with me from the circus.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Well, also, I just want to say, like, I'm really proud of you, and that your journey has been really lovely. And you're so strong.
Stop. Thank you.
Anyway. But let's see. What am I taking away? Well, that I might have a bestiality problem. and
but only of the cartoon variety.
Yes.
Right. The
Yes.
live action doesn't do it
No.
for her.
No, doesn't hit the spot. And I would say that this is all evolving journey, and to like ask questions, talk to each other, listen to each other, and have grace for yourself that you don't have it all figured out right away, but also like respect what people are asking you to call them, no matter what you think.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm leaving the circus tent with a clown dude in like high heels.
Oh my gosh, a clown dude in high heels.
That makes me feel all kinds of things.
Wow.
Well, yeah, talk about a bad crush. Joker. Yeah, the Joker. It's a problem. It's a big problem. And also, I'm taking away the gender wheel that you proposed, but cross my heart, I will give you credit for it every time. But that is really inspiring to me because I talk about not only like gender fluidity, but like the masculine, feminine fluidity that, everyone feels, I'm sure. And this is just going to be very helpful for me. So thank you. And also, I'm just like taking away the knowledge that you've blessed us with today.
So blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, babes.
And
best friend inside jokes. I'm not a part of it.
Oh, I was just talking in a British accent.
Yeah.
No inside joke, guys.
Amazing at accents, by the way.
Multidisciplinary, babe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we're leaving the circus tent. Here we go.
We love you.